Welcome into the MOY Ploy. I am Jake Harris, and I'll be hosting this week solo. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the scores from this past week. We have the Avengers versus Gluten Freak coming in an incredibly close match. This match really should have been game of the week. 159.02 to 159.68. A 0.66 difference in that's 6 yards, basically 6 yard difference in this game right here. Next up, we had If Moy Then Moy, upsetting All Barkley No Bite. I really thought that Ray was going to be able to take this one down, but it ended up being All Borden in the second half, thanks to DK Metcalf with an explosive performance. Next up, we have the Orange Justice versus Corona 19s. Orange Justice is able to take this one down. Orange Justice 149, Corona 19 132. And last up, the game of the week, Father versus Son. It was not close. Son put a spanking on the Father, 108 to 153. And really, it was just a lack of performance by Todd Moy forever. Phil's score, it was fourth on the week, not exceptional, but definitely good enough to get it done against most of the teams in the league this week. So with that underway, we're going to talk mischief mismanaged. It looks like we have a few things to talk about for mischief mismanaged. So we have Todd Craig had several ways to get the 0.66 points he was lacking. I could go over them all, but I'm going to keep it short and sweet today because we're going to probably drop a second episode talking about the power rankings later on, maybe tomorrow. So it looks like Todd Craig had a lot of different ways, and Ray had Corey Davis to replace any number of several of his players to make up the points that he was lacking. Let's go ahead and take a look at some secondary matrix. Secondary matrix, of course, brought to you by the Missouri Aquarium Society, right up there in the top corner. Thank you guys for providing the streaming equipment for me to play around on. All right, so on the secondary matrix, here's an interesting one. Let's take a look at it. The standings right now are very, very squished. There's two teams tied for first and two teams tied for last, and then everybody else right in the middle. We thought last year was tight, but this year is even tighter. It looks like people are not going to be eliminated from playoff contention until much later in the season. We're already 2/3 of the way through the season. With only 4 weeks remaining, there's not a lot of time to make up or give up ground. So, who needs to be worried about the secondary matrix? Well, I think we can go ahead and take a click at the points for, and I think we'll notice that there has been a significant dip in production from the Corona 19s. That's something to pay attention to. I think that Gluten Freak has shot up the rankings, something to pay attention to as well. I think the most notable ones here are If Moy Then Moy, bringing out the bottom of the barrel. The Goat Squad outperforming his record, and second to the bottom, All Barkley No Bite, still outperforming his record. And Todd Moy from Ever, I would say probably underperforming his record at 3-5. He's just really been kind of struggling recently on a 2-game losing streak, and yeah, he's been on the struggle bus right now. I think Orange Justice has been keeping it steady, third in the rankings, and it looks like he might get caught by Gluten Freak, especially now that Gluten Freak has got several key players coming back. Next up, we need to talk about the Panic Bus. All right, so the Panic Bus is it is full this week, in my opinion. I think that there are 5 players that are all on the Panic Bus. I think the most notable addition is that I, Jake, Gluten Freak, has just, for the first time this season, stepped off the panic bus. I think that we have got teams that are on the panic bus are currently Phil. His team is not healthy. He just lost George Kittle for the season. I think on the panic bus is Ray. Just got beat again. Still in the bottom half of scoring, like well in the bottom half of scoring. Borden, obviously, worst record in the league, worst scoring in the league. If he's not on the panic bus, no one should be. Todd Harris, tied for the worst record in the league. If that's where you're at, you got to be panicking. And Todd Craig, the longest active losing streak in the league right now at 3 losses in a row. He went from riding high to right in the middle of the pack. He has got to be feeling the pressure right now. All right, flying through, we're going to talk about the art of the steal. Art of the steal, we had Antonio Brown from Borden traded for Travis Fulgham from Jake. So Jake gets Antonio Brown. Borden gets Travis Fulgham. This is an interesting trade because I think this is a great win now move by Borden. Borden's in last place. He needs the win. He got the win this week, and part of that was thanks to Travis Fulgham. Travis Fulgham had an outstanding match against Dallas, and Borden capitalized and able to bring home that W and keep himself riding that panic bus for a little bit longer. And that is really all that we have uh, for this wrap up. Stay tuned. Peter and I will be back to give some power rankings uh, at probably sometime tomorrow evening. Thank you guys for listening, and I will catch y'all in the next one.